This is the food I grew up on. This is true barbecue.
I don't know all the technical stuff about barbecue. All I know is I grew up eating a lot of it, and when I came here, it tasted like home.
It has the exact taste and flavor that I grew up with in eastern North Carolina.
Oh man, it reminds me of sitting on the front porch with my grandmother in Alabama.
This is down home, country cooking, the stuff that my grandmother and my mother would cook. It's divine goodness.
For Southern natives Ed Cashwell and David Wade, real deal Southern fare was scarce in New England until they found the Porch.
We have a lot of people from the South who have just popped out of the woodwork, and they come in and they're like, I haven't had food like this since I left the South.
Being from Nashville himself, chef owner Jonathan Post felt that need too. So he decided to take all the recipes he grew up on and serve them at this small counter service spot in Wakefield he named the Porch.
Down south, the Porch is a meeting place. It's more than just the front steps to your house. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here, is create a place that people can come together.
So he designed a menu offering the best of Southern comfort food.
Southern food to me is food with soul. It's cooked slow, it's cooked long, it's cooked with a lot of attention and care. This is food that I've been doing my whole life. This is just my opportunity to share it.
And while the menu may not be big, what's on it is second to none.
I do fried chicken, I do barbecue pork, and I do meatloaf, and that's it.
The fried chicken is both juicy and crunchy at the same time due to a long buttermilk bath and a perfectly seasoned breading.
So you bite into it and like juices drip down your chin, but you still get that crunch from the breading. So it's just a good combination of flavors and textures. I don't know, it's just good.
This pristine piece of poultry can be ordered as a plate along with two sides or as a sandwich called the Banty, which gets a smear of pimento cheese and bread and butter pickles for a sandwich that both the customers and staff agree is the best they've ever had.
We just hired a new dishwasher yesterday, and he had the Banty for his first shift meal, and he was like, this is the best sandwich I've ever had.
Oh gosh, nice crust, juicy, hot, fresh. Just like my grandmother's.
And whether you choose to have the meatloaf as a plate or topped with spicy ketchup and pickled peppers in sandwich form, you'll agree this may be the best meatloaf you've ever laid your lips on.
Down south, we do a sweet meatloaf. You'll have a topping on it that's usually made from ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar. That's the way I made mine. And the first time I tasted his meatloaf, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my meatloaf.
It's complex. It's got a lot of different flavors in it. It's moist. It's juicy. It's got the hard crust on top. Yeah, I mean, it's good meatloaf.
Of course, a Southern-style restaurant is only as good as its pulled pork. And at the Porch, it's perfect, because Jonathan's had a lot of practice cooking it.
I've been doing barbecue pork with my father for years. Very simple rub, some sugar, some spices, smoke it on my little smoker until it hits the right temp and it's falling off the bone, and then we pull it and serve it with North Carolina vinegar sauce.
The smokiness of it, the texture of it, it's sweet. The sauce is really tangy.
The meat they use, how they chop it up, how they pull it. When you put it with the right sauce and you've got the right consistency, it allows the flavor of the pork and the flavor of the smoke to come out. This just hits all the buttons.
And while the pulled pork is fantastic when served on brioche with creamy slaw, it's even better enjoyed with some of the sides the Porch has to offer, like fluffy mashed potatoes, creamy mac and cheese, and some real deal collard greens.
He's got those divine collards. He's got the pinto beans. He's got the macaroni and cheese.
The sides to me are what really make the food Southern. The entree is not as good by itself. You need the supporting cast to round out that feature.
And no meal would be complete without a nice slice of chess pie. Made with Jonathan's grandmother's recipe, which is proudly displayed on the wall, this hard-to-find Southern sweet is a simple dessert made with eggs, sugar, butter, vanilla, and believe it or not, vinegar.
Our recipe comes straight from the recipe that she gave me years and years ago. It's just simple goodness, buttery, sugary, tart, to cut that richness, just to keep everything balanced.
And whether you have Jonathan's grandmother's chess pie or his dad's famous pulled pork, you'll be getting a little piece of his family's heritage with every bite.
So when people come here, they're getting the food that I had on my table as a kid. They're getting the food that we had at every family gathering. They're getting the fried chicken that my grandmother fried for my birthday every year. They're getting the barbecue pork that my dad and I have been cooking since I was 12 years old. I mean, everything about this place is me. It tells the story of me. And down south, storytelling is an art form, and people will sit around and tell stories all day long. And this restaurant is me and my story.